A big report up at Infowars.com, Pistol, who's gunning down our republic with their federal goon squad, the TSA, said last November, then again this April, and then again 2 weeks ago that they were not going to grope children under 12 anymore. And it's a total lie. And now all these new videos come out of them doing it, double searching, crying, 6-year-old boys. It's all up at Infowars.com. He's even lied to Congress and said this isn't going on. I mean, these people are crazy in that they think we're going to just keep buying their lies. Also, is Obama establishing an executive dictatorship? That key report, I want to Google search bomb this. You put it into, go to Google, you type in Obama dictatorship, the two words separated, and then you put your cursor over it, and you hit enter. You don't have to retype it in each time. You just keep putting the cursor over it, and put it in about 50 times. And we've noticed that key big terms, they are blocking. We'll see if this one blocks. If not, I'm going to do it tomorrow with an archaic term, because I'm almost sure that's what's happening now. And if it's archaic, it'll go to number one. We've done it like 50, 60 times in a row. Number one, they announced they changed their algorithm. I've been sitting here entering it in before, and you had it flash up and say, please enter the code below to make sure you're not a spam bot, which is what the government admits they do to our sites with their disinfo. And so we're just hitting them and driving this to number one, Obama dictatorship. Hit them and hit them hard. Now, going back to Dr. Corsi, where is this going with Donald Trump? Because he helped bring it all to a head, got an early copy of your book, you talked to him, some national media made fun of you and said, Dr. Corsi claims Donald Trump's talked to him. I mean, like, oh, you could never talk to the great God himself, trying to, again, impugn, just totally ridiculous.
Well, Donald Trump called me a number of times, and he was always pumping for information. I'm convinced Donald Trump was working with Barack Obama. Look, it's all about money, Alex.
By the way, you predicted he would magically get the authorization from their man in Chicagoland, Rahm Emanuel, and magically he's getting the casinos now.
That's what it was all about. It was about that and also getting a big payday from GE. Remember, GE still owns about 48% of NBC, along with Comcast. And GE, of course, sits about at Obama's right-hand side.
WNBC!
And NBC extended Trump's contract for 2 years for The Apprentice. I think that was worth $100 million to Trump. And now he's getting the casinos. So Trump came out and said, I want to see the birth certificate. And then, of course, when Obama released this fraudulent forged birth certificate on April 27th, Donald Trump said, well, that's good enough for me. And I told Donald Trump, he called me after that, and he said again, Trump repeated that he thought that the birth certificate was a forged document. Told me that twice in phone calls after April 27th, that his golf course designer, a computer expert, had called Trump and said the document's an obvious forgery. And I said to Trump, if you believe that, then get out there and demand a forensic examination of the original document in the Hawaii vault, and Trump would not do that.
Well, again, for their scripting, they had to build it to a crescendo, then have him act like he was discredited. He creeps off right as your book comes out. And then as folks start looking at that, boom, out pops the bin Laden, all scripted, admittedly, all lies. We just don't know what the truth is. I mean, this is so incredibly obvious that they are scared to death of what's in your book. By the way, we have it discounted. Excellent book. You'll learn so much more in the book, and they want to defeat it. Of course, he's had other books that sell 500,000 copies. This one only 100,000. That makes it a New York Times bestseller, obviously. We need to get this book out to everybody and attack their dirty ops, their dirty tricks, the things they try to do to kill this. Get this book. Get it out to everybody you know. It's available at Infowars.com and bookstores everywhere as well. But again, Dr. Jerome Corsi, Ph.D., where's the birth certificate? The case that Barack Obama is not eligible to be president. All of this scripted for right when the book came out, on record, showing they're scared of it. Absolutely incredible. We've only got a few minutes left with you, Doctor. We appreciate your time. Any other little giblets or tidbits? When are you going to name the names?
Well, I'm starting to now. I'm going to say probably tomorrow, WorldNet Daily, that the Nordyke twins document was the major template used to create the forgery. I'm not going to stop on this at all until we expose the truth. As the greatest cover-up in American history, we've now got a felony committed in the White House, forged document that Obama is himself responsible for, part of the chain of evidence, in order to stay in power. all a staged manipulation of the news to try to defeat my book, Where's the Birth Certificate?, prevent it from being read, and prevent Americans from knowing the truth, which is that Obama is not eligible to be president.
Well, in closing, we wish you Godspeed, and obviously as this begins to develop in the next week or so, we want to have you back up just in the next few days. Just as soon as you're ready, please have your assistant email us, and we'll schedule in just a 15-minute pop-in, because I know you're busy. The final question is on another subject, but it goes to credibility. If I'm a prosecutor and I've got a convicted liar up on the stand who I believe committed the new crime, I'm going to bring up the fact that they've been caught lying over and over again. And Obama has made Richard Nixon look truthful, Bill Clinton look like a choir boy. I mean, there's no doubt this is a new level of deception and lies, where it's just an ocean of lies, where the truth is not there. So it's hard to even get a frame of reference. But Attorney General Eric Holder has now it's come out, and even the Associated Press of all places, but isn't getting the attention it needs. And I wanted you to briefly speak to this, that the FBI, the DEA, not just the ATF were involved in Fast and Furious, that it was tens of thousands of firearms, not 1,800, that it has been used to kill cops and other people, and that it was going to be used, as they were already doing a year ago, before this was known, to demonize the Second Amendment, right as he now announces his new no-fly, no-buy type deal to restrict firearm ownership in America. And so you have an administration constantly engaged in perjury. What's your take on how big this is to have this going all the way to the Attorney General and his own rats now, because they've been caught lying in their own documents that Congressman Issa and others have gotten, that they're now turning on the Attorney General? I mean, this is huge.
It's huge, and it goes right to the Oval Office. This whole Fast and Furious, as well as the forging of the birth certificate, is Obama's doing. And I'm now convinced we'll be able to disclose, probably next week, that a White House unit has been responsible for the OBOT. The White House has coordinated this attack against the birthers. The entire thing is misinformation. It would be classically KGB, almost as if Obama's entire life and career is an intelligence operation. And the misinformation and dreams from my father is where it begins. It's filled with lies. I expose that, and Where's the Birth Certificate?
Well, that's what all the CIA people and NSA folks I've had on, they say when you look at Obama, it's all a fake history going back decades. Clearly, and the whole family's in different intelligence agencies, that this guy is a purely manufactured creature. The question is, who does he work for?
Well, and why can't we get the documents? Why can't we get the travel records, the passport records, the school records? Obama is an undocumented worker in the White House, and that's a classic intelligence cover-up. What I pointed out is now the cover-up is continuing. They're forging birth certificate documents. They're lying about their role in the Fast and Furious. The entire Obama administration is a lie, and I don't intend to stop, Alex, until we expose fully who's responsible for creating this forged birth certificate, and the responsibility lies in the Oval Office.
Well, Dr. Corsi, in conclusion here, do you agree historically and looking at this, that this makes the administration even more dangerous, that they're being opposed on their Libya war for constitutional reasons?
Yes, and Alex, we'll be able to announce that I'm working with a group of military that are about to call for a congressional investigation. The Obama White House should be very concerned about how far they're pushing our U.S. military, and should be understanding that people whose careers have been built here on service to the United States are not going to see budget cuts and disrespect to the military and simply stand by. There's going to be military calls for an investigation of this administration, and they're coming very quickly. It's organizing right now.
But more than that, his frontal assault on the Constitution, saying he doesn't need Congress for taxes, he doesn't on debt ceiling, he doesn't need them for gun control, he doesn't need Congress for new wars. I mean, this is off the charts. I've never seen anything move this fast, and I see that as a sign of desperation.
It is, and the mainstream media won't report it. The American people, I think, are fed up with the mainstream media. It shows like yours, Alex. It's the work we're doing at WorldNet Daily. This is where the real reporting is going on and where the real truth is being told. Our Constitution has never been in more danger than it is today.
All right, Dr. Corsi, where's the birth certificate? Available at Infowars.com. Thank you for joining us.
Great pleasure always, Alex. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Folks, I'm telling you, we're in grave danger. I told you 3.5 months ago when they had al-Qaeda start attacking Gaddafi, that's on record now, that they would either force him to strike Europe back, and they would call that terrorism, and then use that to take our liberties, or they would stage something. And now Gaddafi is saying, I'm going to attack Europe. If you don't stop attacking me, he's played right into their hands. And he'll do something, they'll stage something. Got all these White House advisors saying a terror attack would sure help us on record, and we want a domestic attack to blame it on Glenn Beck and Alex Jones. I mean, even Glenn Beck covered that. He said he's going to be blamed for the new Oklahoma City. No, if you read all those thinly veiled threats and Media Matters, and it's Glenn Beck and Alex Jones are going to cause the next attack, and then the very advisors are saying, gee, a new attack would sure help us. You got those two things. I mean, they think we're so stupid. You think it's fun to be on the White House enemies list? You think it's fun to have them trying to set us up for a new OKC? But it's because what we're doing is defending the Republic. If you let criminals run things, folks, the sky's the limit. They're not going to stop. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.